Am I live? Yes, okay, good to see I am live. Hello everyone and welcome back to the GT Podcast. I know it's been a long time since the GT Podcast was live. Unfortunately, first thing to throw out before we get into any of the news today that I'll be covering here on GT Live. Unfortunately, Ludus will not be joining us today. I did try and... The thing is, without getting too personal with his situation right now and without getting too much into some of the things that are going on with him, he's got a lot of stress and weight on his back lately, quite a bit, and I did want to approach him about bringing GT back because it's been a very long time since we last did it. I want to say it's been like 3 months. It might be less, might be more, but I think the last one we did was around September. And I really wanted to bring it back. I really wanted to have him back and do this fun thing again. And I was gonna approach him about the idea of bringing it back. But a few days ago, when I said hi, did the initial niceties, he was having a bad day. He was having a rough day, and the last thing I want to do is add to that stress. I'm worried about him, and I want to alleviate the weight he's feeling day to day. I don't want to add to it. So while I may want GT to come back, I fear that asking him to come back with me might add stress to his plate, might add an obligation to his plate that he may not necessarily want. So while GT will always have a place for him, he is still my co-host until the day he tells me to fuck off and says he never wants to do it again. For right now, it could be a while before he's going to be in a comfortable place to join in regularly. So, I'm a one-man show for a little while. I do intend to, try and get some guests on from here to whenever Ludus can come back on a more regular basis. But for right now, I'm just letting him rest, letting him relax, and hopefully, life doesn't get him too much down. But yeah, I just want to cover that little clearance thing first up, is just for a little while, Ludus will not be joining me on GT Podcast. I have yet to properly talk to him about it, so keep in mind this is all from my perspective, and he may actually really want to come back. He might see it as a stress reliever. I'm not sure, but for right now, just that side of it, I'm giving Ludus plenty of space, plenty of breathing room, and hopefully life treats him how he deserves. He deserves a lot less stress on his plate. Anyway, that seriousness out of the way, welcome to the GT Podcast. Technically, this is number 6 of the New Order GT Podcast, but it's not on the Warglaive channel. First things first, let me welcome Lee Bryles and little Miss Cindy to the podcast. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Coneth Corn, welcome to the podcast. Thank you. Welcome. Now, the first thing to talk about, offer my services, I don't know enough about. I'd offer my services, but you won't. Yeah, I'm gonna have an open Q&A call. Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna be looking into guests. I'm thinking about talking to Greg, over at KTH, Kill Team Hungry, for those of you who don't know, because he's been on a couple times and he seemed to like it. So I don't know, maybe I can get him on as a guest at some point. I know today I'm talking a little bit about the 20% stock drop and a few extra details about that. But, yeah, on a more 40K news-focused podcast, I could probably see if I can drag him on. Speak of the devil. Hey, Greg, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast, my friend. Welcome. All right, so, yep, first topic today. So, Final Fantasy XIV, specifically the Endwalker expansion launch, has been so successful, has been so acclaimed by players and newer fans alike. God damn, Square Enix had to stop selling it. Like, the contrast, like, people have been doing, and I'm guilty of this immensely. I've been guilty about this immensely. But when it comes to Final Fantasy taking the crown as the #1 MMORPG on the market from the long-standing king of World of Warcraft is one thing. But how many companies can say and be totally correct about it and be totally honest and not being braggadocious? How many companies and studios can go, we have a game that's so successful, we had to stop selling copies because we simply couldn't keep up? Like that is I think a lot of studios envy that position from one angle, the successful angle. The amount of work that the devs and the producers and everybody over at Square Enix is probably having to put in right now to try and increase server capacity, trying to fix out and manage bugs and mitigate problems that players are having. But just left and right, we're just seeing so much success going to Square Enix and specifically the 14 devs. And being a player who plays this game, I gotta say, I love Final Fantasy XIV Online. It's immensely fun. I'm a little bit into Endwalker. Endwalker has so far blown me away with its storytelling, and I'm not even all the way through it, and I have no idea where the story's going, and I love it. The writing is on point. So for me, in a way, this is no surprise to me. The game has been doing very well. The community is growing, and honestly, it's not just because World of Warcraft they are sucking, but it's not just because of that. You can't deny the quality behind the game, and you can't deny the quality behind the community of 14. So this is well earned. So massive credit, kudos, and everything else to the Square Enix Final Fantasy XIV devs. Particularly to Yoshi P and to Ishikawa and Soken. For those of you who don't know, Yoshi P is the game director. He is his name is Yoshida, but everyone calls him Yoshi P. Because he plays the game for one, so that's a big thing. And he's very earnest, very honest, and he's very open with the community, and we love him for it. And he's taken the game from what was once a just critical failure to its massive success now, and he's led it through that forest of difficulty. So major credit to him. Soken is the composer for all of the god tier music. Like seriously, if you take away nothing else from 14, I recommend looking into the musical compositions and accompaniments. You can find some of the tracks and some of the main theme songs for some of the expansions on Spotify. I know I have a playlist of them. The music alone is worth a check out. It's fantastic. Personally, I'd recommend people look up not the music video if you intend to play the game, because there are spoilers in the cinematic trailers for each of the opening expansions. But I definitely would recommend looking up the actual music on YouTube or on Spotify for the Shadowbringers expansion. That is my favorite theme song so far in the entire game, with next to Answers, which is the main theme song of A Realm Reborn. Again, these tracks just blow you away with their quality, and massive credit to Soken for the credit he's done on several of the tracks, as well as other musicians that we've worked with and under him. Again, major credit there. And Ishikawa, she is the main writer for Endwalker and Shadowbringers. I know for a fact Shadowbringers. And she also wrote the Dark Knight quests, story quests, and I believe she's the main writer in Endwalker. I'd have to double check that. But point is, massive credit to those three big figures in the 14 dev team, and massive credit to all of them. And this is older news now, but I'll throw it in there as well because I didn't cover it. At least I didn't cover it properly. I mentioned it in one of my live streams. But one little, side tidbit of news is the Square Enix devs, I'll just say Yoshi P just because he represents them, have given the entire player base 7 extra free days of playtime completely for free. They're adding that on to everyone's subscription time. 7 more days of them not having to pay a subscription. That's massive. That's a lot of money. Because I'm not sure the exact player count, but I know the subscription fee is just around $15 a month, and to extend everyone's playtime by over 7 days, that's 7 days more that they aren't going to get that money. So that was a big thing, and I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I have to double check this, but I believe they're also giving even more free time to players because of a lot of the server capacity issues, a lot of the server congestion issues, and some people getting kicked off servers randomly due to connectivity issues. There's been some minor technical issues, but despite the fact that what we're used to from developers, especially here in the West, which is to just kind of give the middle finger to the player base and go, nah, we'll fix it, but we're not going to do anything to alleviate your lost game time. Square Enix devs, Yoshi P's team, they're like, nope. Here's some free days off. We're sorry that these days that you should be playing the game, you can't because you're behind queues, you're getting kicked off the servers because of weird connectivity issues, and some of you are getting an error code. Because of that, here's some free time off. You guys, we're sorry. That's on us. And I don't even think it's on them. Major credit to that. That's older news now, but I thought I'd tack that onto this already kind of cheeky, like, we're so it's a meme now. It's a meme. They're so successful they had to stop selling the game. This is the second time I believe they've had to stop selling the game. Sunbuns, Funbuns, welcome to the Geekus Theoreticus podcast. Welcome, my friend. How are you? Senbiaku and Madeo. Welcome, Engrave Digger. Welcome to the GT podcast. I am your host, Asmogan. And you guys, I don't believe, have been on the podcast before. So just a little background. This podcast was started back when I did 40K content primarily. It wasn't 40K focused. The GT podcast, as the name suggests, is about geek news. It's about covering some of the latest stuff. Sometimes we wouldn't even cover news on the podcast. We would just talk about, 40K lore and our opinions on it. We would open it up to just a general Q&A, and whatever the audience wanted to throw out for topics, we'd discuss it at length. Oftentimes, me and Ludus would debate our perspective on video games that I virtually hate, and he loves to death, like Fallout 76. But yeah, unfortunately, my normal co-host, Ludus, he's going through a rough time right now. He's very busy, very stressed, lots of anxiety. So I wanted to invite him on to, come back and do the podcast again, because it was a lot of fun for us. But I feel that I might be adding weight to his... thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. Thank you for supporting me, the podcast, and the channel. Much thanks to you, my friend. Well, indeed. But yeah, right now, John's got a lot of stress, and I don't want to add to it. So to be fair, I didn't bring this up to him about doing it today. I was going to wait till Wednesday because I believe that's his next day off from work, but with Christmas coming up, I don't know what the rest of my week's schedule is going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to live stream after a certain day. I know on Wednesdays, my family is planning on doing one last Christmas get-together with the rest of our family, but then after that, it's completely a blur. Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, I'm completely not making any content or streaming. But, I might Christmas Eve, but I'll have to fit it in. But anyway, that aside, yeah, that's generally the news. That's the update with, why Ludus isn't here, where the podcast came out of nowhere from for some of you, and came back for some of you. Yeah, so general opening is all set up, and mad props to Yoshi P and the 14 dev team for giving us such an amazing game, such an amazing narrative, and a game I probably won't stop playing for a long time. I won't say forever because I don't want to curse myself. I tend to do that. I used to say that about World of Warcraft, and here we are. Anyway, yeah, that's our first topic, done and done. I know I just pulled up the article because, the headline kind of fit. I did read this through. It's a nice article, but I more or less summarized what it said in my own opinions. Anyway, first topic out of the way. So the next topic, actually, I ordered these wrong. Let's go here. So the next topic is going to be discussing the GW stock drop that recently occurred. Before I get into that, let me catch up with the chat. There's a Nathan. Yes. Did podcast until I saw the video in the sub feed. Yeah, it's been a long time, 3 months since our last podcast, and even then, the last podcast we did was on the other channel, my Warglaive Gothic channel. I think I'm moving the GT podcast back to this one, and I'm just gonna leave Warglaive Gothic's channel properly to Warglaive Gothic, even if it doesn't get a lot of subs because of the rare upload of when I have an update for Warglaive. It's probably best to keep Geekus separate from Warglaive, just, from a marketing standpoint and a company perspective. So I'm moving it back to the main channel. Plus, with 40K content coming back to the main channel as well, it doesn't feel as out of place as it did when I switched to FF content. Which, by the way, I'm not dropping FF content. I'm doing both. I'm doing 40k content when I want to, is the best way to describe it. But I won't promise any consistency. Like, oh, every other week you're gonna get it in a nutshell. Nope, I'm not promising that. First off, it depends on how well each in the nutshell does. Like if they get like only 100 views after a week, I'm probably not going to prioritize it very much. I'm going to prioritize other content that does better. That's just a basic YouTube thing, but just to get that out of the way real quick. I'm not going back to just being a 40k channel. I'm just allowing 40k content back on my channel because I do miss doing it. And since I'm playing more games with my brother-in-law and we're talking about the lore and stuff like that, it's become more consistent in my life than it had been after the last couple dramas that occurred with 40k and Games Workshop. Been watching your vids a bit, and since living in Asia, I can only catch you live at 4 a.m. before work. 4 a.m. So, you're 10 hours or 12 hours ahead of me? Because it's right now for me, it's almost 3 p.m., so I'm not sure what you're looking at. But I'm glad you got to catch your stream, and I'm glad to hear you're enjoying the videos. Glad to have you on, Sunbun. Hey, Billy Mount, welcome to the GT Podcast. How are you? That stock drop. Serves him right? Yep. Yes, so that brings us to the main news, the next news topic. Games Workshop's 20% or 20 or 25. I've heard both. 20 to 25% stock drop. Given some recent events that have occurred. Now, if I understand the timeline correctly, which I may very well not, it's been a bit chaotic because GW has done a lot of things that have earned this stock drop in spades, and I do find it odd that we're only now getting this kind of response from purchasers. I will say this: I do want to point out to people that 20% may not. 20% is maybe only be a fifth of their stock drop, which is still significant on a normal month. But to stress how significant GW's stock drop is in this case, I do want to point out this is Christmas season. This is the holidays. This is the time of year when their stock should be going up, even if the community is pissed at them. So to see them go down even a single percent, I would tell people, don't look at this 20% drop, and I apologize for my dog, she's probably, I have no idea why she's barking. This drop that we're seeing, think of it like it's a 40% drop. Because given the time frame it's happening in. This is the holiday season. This is when people are fucking buying this shit up like crazy. Want to chat about this? Sure, sure, Greg. I will pull you. I will jump in the stream. Hold on. I'm gonna jump in the stream call on my friend's server. Jump into call line and I'll drag you in. I'm on the right speaker, right? Yep. So jump on in and I'll drag your ass in so we can chat about it. But yeah, to get my like singular thoughts out about it. Honestly, Greg pretty much summed up my thoughts about this a second ago. Serves him right. I feel no sympathy. Like GW has earned this kind of a stock plummet long before now. All right, Greg, I see you're on. Wait, you're not muted, are you?
I am.
Oh, I can hear you. There you go. Wait, is it just
Well,
me?
hello.
Well, hello. How are you, man?
Hey, nice to see you back on track, man. What's up?
Back on track. I never left track. I just left the 40k track.
Nah, I mean health-wise.
That I definitely went off the rails.
Anyway, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Don't worry about me. The likelihood I was gonna die from COVID was pretty low.
Of course it is, but you know,
The
it's like
most I worried about it was that injury I got from my ex. Because after she hit me in the ribs and broke a couple with the baseball bat.
oh
After
yeah, there was that as well. Yeah,
yeah,
I
after
totally
that
remember.
happened a few years ago, doctors have been told me I've steadily had more and more lung issues on that side. I don't know
Yeah,
for a fact how much of it is related. It could just be a natural thing for my genetics. Like maybe my family just loses lung capacity. But I've been
well,
having issues over there. I do know that my most recent the stuff that happened with my back and having to get
mhm.
surgery for through my back because of my
Oh
lung.
shit. Oh
That was for a fact related to my injuries I received from when that happened. So
yeah.
that is most directly related. But um, yeah, that one's more or less resolved. My back's still healing. There's still some stitches in there, but I'm more or less my wound's pretty much closed. I don't have any risk of bleeding. So anyway,
All right.
that morbidity, I guess, aside.
Well, I lost some lung capacity as well after COVID, so
uh,
I don't know if it will come back when I was like finished with excuse me, wife is on the phone.
don't ignore the wifey. That's how you
No,
get in the doghouse.
nah. I'm flying to Russia on Thursday, so it's
Oh, okay. Business trip
yeah.
or social?
No. I'm seeing the family after like 2 months, so
Ah, okay.
January we are bringing them back. So that will be over, I guess, and finally. Well, anyway, um, yeah. That aside,
That aside.
that aside, yeah. This, I mean, I find this hilarious and sad at the same time. What is going on? Because as you very precisely pointed out, that it is the season, and the sales aren't that hot. If
No,
I'm
like the reason for this stock drop, I have no doubt is partially due to fan response. But the thing is, stockholders don't really pay as much attention to the drama stuff. So oftentimes, like when there is drama with the community and the fan base, for 40K, Age of Sigmar, and also that I've never played it, but I know they have a Lord of the Rings kind of game that they sell.
Yeah,
You know,
it's coming up. It's coming up
their their
actually.
core their core their core fan base, if their core fan base, oftentimes the only time we'll see the stocks drop when there's tension between the company and the fan base is when it's profit related. Stockholders only bail out like this, not usually over drama. It can be related, but I personally believe a major portion of this is because the stockholders are seeing like the month. I'm assuming they're getting monthly or bi-monthly reports from GW about like how their
Well,
profits are looking.
I think the year-end report is due,
Yeah.
or it's already coming in. I have
Hmm.
no idea.
I have no.
But yeah, quarterly reviews um well
Yeah.
are due, and I bet they are not happy.
Oh hell no! I mean, if I wouldn't say so, they bailed out.
Let me just see. Let me just see this graphic you put up there. I'm
Yeah.
watching it on my mobile as well.
So
But yeah, so in the last 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, or at least 10, if I'm not mistaken, there was a I'll just give it a wide margin, okay? A 2,000 to some 5,000% increase in the stock value. So somewhere in between. Let's aim for the Origo, which is about 3,500 percent um, stock value increase. You can all of you who have the statistics and correct ones, you can just like correct me and say
yeah,
I'm
hold on. Let me
but
pull up.
there has been, I think it was
All right.
a one. No. Here's my flashback moment. I think it's 1,500% increase in the last 10 years.
All right, let me pull up. Well, I can't pull up the 10-year, unfortunately, but I can pull up the 5-year. So if we pull up the 5-year stocks general costs of the stocks for GW, back in the 24th of December 2016, they were at 713.50, which I believe that's calculated to USD. Wait, no, I don't believe that is because that's euro. All right, so euros is what they were trading for stocks in 2016, 713.50 euros, 0.50 euros. And from then all the way up until, let's see, there's 2 major dips in their stocks. So we'll go to the first one. So till about the 15th of February 2020, their stocks were just on a steady rise with a couple minor divots that you see in all stocks, a little bit up and down. And then they hit their first plummet. Their first plummet was in 14th of March 2020, where they dropped even more percentage-wise than they did this time around. Like they dropped 20% this time around. But
was
for
that 8th edition?
I believe that would have been 8th edition. That or okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have been 8th edition. So that's where we saw a major drop with Games Workshop before now. And then of course they pretty much immediately by May that same year they brought their stocks back up to the same level. They kept on a steady rise. And then that brings us to their next major dip. 3 months ago, September 4th, 2021, they were trading at 11,990 euros, and again, I believe that's euros. It's definitely not USD.
No, that has to be some kind of stock.
It might be a stock calculator.
Because I know for sure that it's about one GW share is about maybe 120 euros. Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely not that much money. What you're talking about?
Well, no, what I'm talking about is not like per stock. This like that they're when I say they're trading at this level, it's more like this is their net worth.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that would be their net worth or big last close, high low, kind of like that. That's like their bids. They were point is, well, just because, and to be fair, I'm not a stockbroker. I don't know the ins and outs. I do study the economy because when it comes to who I vote for, typically in my local elections as well as the whole elections of the United States, I typically a big focus for me on like who like runs for me. I want to vote for someone who's got policies that are gonna help the economy. Like I like to focus on that a lot. That's just a personal note about me though. So I do know a little bit about stocks, probably more than the average person, but not being a stock trader myself, I can't tell you the ins and outs and the calculations and all that stuff. I can only tell you like the bare minimum of why stocks are important, how to tell when they're doing good, how to tell when they're doing bad, and I can also generally tell like when is a good time to buy stocks and when is not. But as I was saying, 4th of September, they were at the level of 11,990, whatever that's calculating. I'm just going to say net worth because
currently they are closing at 129.50 USD per stock.
All right, so that might be like some overarching calculation. But and just so everyone knows what I'm using, I'm using London Stock Exchange, so I don't know what they're calculating there.
I just checked Yahoo Finance. I don't know how is that, so it's like so that's what they closed at, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They were at that level, and then they dropped 20% all the way to. They went from 11,990 just on the crisp of 12,000. Again, whatever this number's calculating, all the way down to 9,650. So they lost value-wise of their stocks. They lost over 20%.
This is considerable.
And a lot of people including myself, understand, even if you're, again, not a stockbroker, you understand that if stocks drop more than 4 or 5%, it's notable. Drops more than 10%, it's an issue. If it drops more than 20, something massively wrong is happening.
So we can say that this is the tanking category.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and that's if the stocks drop on like a normal month, like let's say February, when there's no special holidays going on that would increase sales. For GW's stock to plummet like this during the holiday season.
Well, there are multiple factors. Because I've been keeping.
True, there are multiple factors. That is one thing to stress to everybody is this, for everybody who is like yipping and cheering, I don't want to be like the killjoy, but I do want to point out, like, to be rational, stocks drop. Keep in mind, stockholders, like I said earlier, they are not focused on drama. Like, they're not focused on the controversies. Because every company has them. Especially companies like Games Workshop that sell a toy product, essentially. Oftentimes, there's lots of random dumb shit that happens when you get to a company at this level. So stockholders really don't care. Most of the time, stockholders bail like this if they either project future either they project the future profits that they're gaining from this stock value-wise are not going to go up but are going to plummet. They want to sell while that stock has value. So it could be a projection thing, like they just predict down the line GW is going to sell a lot less for whatever reason. That could be a projection based on like shipping costs. That could be a projection based on manufacturing. Maybe GW's having issues getting certain resources together so they can do their plastic injection molding. Maybe that's related. This is all speculation. I'm not a stockholder. I'm not one of these stockholders that sold all their stocks or sold them a good chunk of their stocks for GW, so I can't speak to their mindset. But that is something I do need to stress is we have no idea, or we have no concrete idea why the stockholders dropped. We can only correlate the stock drop with events. And that's why a lot of the community are going, okay, the stock drop happened around the time the community is fighting back and pushing back and boycotting GW because of their, well, the most recent thing I've heard is their IP policy.
Well, yeah. So a little recap for those of the people who basically don't know what the hell is going on with this is that this year or around June, I made a video on this. It's like a small recap of why are you whining for GW again? What is it this time? And I was like, oh, okay. So I just made a video about recapping everything that happened. It all started with the around June-ish, maybe, when suddenly out of nowhere they announced this Warhammer Plus streaming service, and then
by the way, I haven't been keeping up with that. How is that going? I genuinely am curious. Like I have not been keeping up with it.
There's been the what do you say, the motion comic quality hammer and bolter shit, and there was Angels of Death, which I've covered, and on Odyssey, the outsourced Spanish. I'm not kidding you. They are Spanish. The Spanish Inquisition was on my ass on Odyssey, and they literally sent a CND to the hosting website to remove Angels of Death. I was very meticulously careful not to name the video Angels of Death, but they found me there as well. So I got like 5 episodes out, and other than that, after that, I have no idea what's been going on. There's been this shitty Sisters episode, which everybody just disses on. There were, I think, 2 episodes of Angels of Death, but of those, one was just let's sit down and talk about it. And of course, there was the epic fail re-upload of the digitally enhanced and audio-visually corrected Siama Pedersen Astartes, which we all know and love. But that was a weekly new episode which you paid for. So yeah, and nothing else. Other than that, Warhammer Plus still sucks. so you didn't really miss out on anything.
I
And
figured I
then,
didn't. I figured I would have heard if
and
something major had happened with it.
as Lord said, how to spray paint your miniatures black. And I was like, thank you. What's it called? Citadel Masterclass. Oh yeah,
How to
Masterclass.
prime your minis.
Anyway,
First,
yeah.
insert brain in skull. There you go. Step 1 complete. Oh my god.
So yeah, and then Siama Pedersen started disappearing. Sodas started disappearing. Tiber Portuguese also disappeared. The magnificent dude and co behind the last church. By the way, that's still up
The
on
last
my
church is still
channel,
up?
and I have demonetized it ages ago because I want that to be free for everybody because everybody
Okay.
deserves that.
As long as it's not
And
monetized, I don't think... Because under GW's own IP policy, as they've stated, you're not... They've stated you're not allowed to monetize their stuff. Or what they declare as their stuff, even, completely ignoring fair use as a concept.
whatever, they are inconsistent.
Yeah.
About that. So I'm not taking chances on that
Yeah,
one.
and just
So,
just to clarify for some folks, when it came to me quitting 40K content, I do want to clarify this because there was some confusion when I left. The main reason I stopped working on 40K content and the reason I privated the videos in particular, a portion of the reason I privated the videos was because of their IP threat. I had no idea where my, like, In the Nutshell series, for example, fell under that. Even though, my usage of everything falls under U.S. fair use law. Like, if you look at, like, anime channels that just share clips on occasion and how those get struck down, sometimes other countries don't really respect the whole fair use thing. So I wasn't sure if GW was going to go all draconian or not, so that's why I privated those. And since they, as far as I've seen, they haven't really gone after that many people, if any.
Nah, you're in the U.S. It would be a massive.
I mean, I would. A part of me would have loved to have that fight in court because they would have not won. But another part of me was like, I don't want to waste the money on a lawyer.
Well, absolutely nothing. The channel said that he's gonna crowdfund himself, or was it Ace? I'm not sure. But either of the two said that he's gonna crowdfund the lawsuit against GW.
I have no idea if it was Ace. I assume I would have heard something about it.
So it was absolutely nothing then. He had also fantastic Krieg stuff from Source stuff. So yeah. But yeah. So these people started disappearing, the good ones as well. And also then TTS was they on their own terms they went out, and that was a great line. That was a red line in the sand. Many people couldn't.
And they might come back like I did. Like my policy was I was gonna give it like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And then after I checked and virtually nobody had been struck or hit hard by GW, I unprivated all my old stuff. Modders, yeah. Modders got hit, but I'm talking like the YouTube content creator sphere. Modders, when I did hear about that was for like Total War Warhammer, right?
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, so that was going on. We didn't really know what was really happening behind the background. Then the NDA scandal happened.
Yep.
Great thanks to
that was a
Arch
fucking roller coaster.
Yep.
Because when Ludus and I, which by the way, if you guys go to the Warglaive Gothic channel, I took down our coverage of that mainly because it was too drama related. So just to disassociate with it, because the thing is, when we were initially covering it, like me and Ludus were totally confident about it because it was one of those cases where it was like, okay, it's just us versus GW, but then it kind of devolved in that whole thing of NQA and then Goobertown Hobbies and then shit.
It's basically us versus other YouTubers and GW.
Yeah, I don't like getting into feuds with people. With other people on my level, like, other content creators. I'd rather avoid that. I will call out GW, Blizzard. I'll call out a company all day long. I don't like getting into feuds with other content creators, mainly because is as high as I see it, it's like getting into a bar fight. Yeah, I could get into it. Yeah, I might even win. I might even have the better arguments or better jabs. But either way, the two of us are just walking away with lumps, and nothing really is gained from it. So I try to avoid that kind of thing.
Yeah, two things. I called out a handful of people, and out of those, only one channel came back explicitly saying, "Can you roll a crit?" That's the channel's name. That one single channel came back to me and said that he never signed anything, and he will never sign anything. He gets free stuff from GW, but he's not signing anything, and never had. And I said, okay, good. So you are cleared from the accusation. Everybody else, Glass have the admin. What is it called? The other stuff. Oh my god. Guerrilla Miniatures, Mini Wargaming, and so on still haven't even budged.
I doubt, to be perfectly honest, I doubt you're ever gonna get a response from them.
so the accusation stands, and Norn Queen is still up and still doing videos anyway.
Yeah.
So much for quitting YouTube.
I'm not getting into it. I have my opinions on her actions.
Yeah. Sure. So let's just skip that and just don't even touch it. And any further, I mean.
Yeah.
And then there was some quiet going on. Still, the quote unquote content was coming out of the Warhammer Plus stuff. Then they started teasing people and luring people in with £10 vouchers, virtual vouchers, and
I remember
gift
that.
vouchers,
That was bullshit.
which you couldn't redeem for certain stuff.
Of course, Greg. Like, it just because it's a discount on things doesn't mean it needs to be a discount on all the things.
Then there was a Northern Exile as a ex GW employee. Man, that dude is dropping H bombs on GW's practice, and you can learn a lot from that dude. Northern Exile is the channel's name, a British fella, and he said that there was this anniversary, the 1 millionth miniature or whatever. I don't even know what was the occasion. But it was a ton of money, and you had to order 100 something English pounds worth of stuff, and then you could have gotten that miniature. So first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, if you had some problem with the products of that order, and you had to send it back. You had to send back the limited edition anniversary miniature as well, and it was contractual that you had to send it back. GW had this in writing, otherwise they will not redeem anything. And if you have bought a voucher for that, you will get the voucher back either. So these little things, they just keep piling up. And the latest thing is the Christmas battle boxes.
I heard a little about these. Now, I've heard that the extent of what I've heard, and this, I keep in mind, like, I'm only recently really getting back into 40k stuff. And with my refreshed mindset about it, I don't think I'll be leaving anytime soon. I assume you saw my video talking about like how I look at the hobby, right?
I think I did.
Yeah. Gist of it, the underlying gist is, before I, quit 40k content, before I quit that, I was really depressed with the hobby and kind of giving up hope on it because of all the recent drama, the news, all the things GW was doing. And after I quit making content and just focused on painting the minis in my own time, playing the occasional game with my brother-in-law, just kind of looking back at the old lore and reading the old books, I realized, actually, no. Like, I don't know what I was depressed about. Like, yeah, they can ruin the hobby all they want, but I don't have to get the new stuff. I don't have to buy the new books. I don't even have to buy their minis. Like, if I want to know what's ongoing, I do, but I'm good at just cutting off my book purchases at 30K, and I'm also good at when it comes to miniatures, I have two 3D printers and enough training and experience to sculpt my own
Yeah.
and before GW comes after me for like duplicating their stuff. Sorry to break it to you, but as long as I'm not selling it or distributing it, hell, as long as I don't even share screenshots of the files, you have no right. I'm allowed to make whatever the fuck I want for my own use. Fuck you.
And that's it. And it's perfectly fine if you want to dip your toe back into it every now and then.
Well, yeah. Because, as far as my lore coverage for In the Nutshell is gonna go, I'm literally only covering. I'm not acknowledging any of their new shit. Like, no, I am not taking down my first episode of covering the Emperor and adding in that his name is Neoth and he had a wife.
What the hell?
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know the exact full revelation. I know that in a recent book that a Custodes, something to do with the Custodes and the Emperor and learning his past, there was some big revelations. I don't know if that was a rumor going around, but what I heard was the Emperor's name was revealed to be like Neoth or something like that. And there's confirmations about some theories about his past, and he had a wife who was not the Erda.
Perpetual.
Yeah, Erda was not his wife. At least I heard that there was Erda, and then he had a wife. I don't know all the details outside of that. All I know is that there was.
He must have had many.
Well, I would assume a man of his caliber. But as far as I understood the rumor, his name has been revealed and parts of his past have been confirmed in a recent book. I have not read the book myself, so I'll take this with a grain of salt. Everybody is watching right now. I am not saying this is definitive, but from the rumor I heard secondhand, his name has been revealed, and he's confirmed to have had a wife, and also aspects of his past have also been confirmed.
This is getting better and better by the week. So since that's been going on, I've been a strong advocate for boycotting. Well, not precisely everything which is GW, but laser focused on Warhammer Plus. Because if there's something worth boycotting within GW, because frankly speaking, the models are good, especially the nowadays. I would say that some of the stuff are good. Some need a resculpt, an update. Kill Team, I played a new Kill Team. It's wonderful. It's good. Despite the fact that it's riddled with typos and whoever wrote that is not a not native speaker of English. That's for sure. But anyway, but Warhammer Plus is an atrocity.
Oh yeah.
What is going on? And they have put so much brain fart. Effort, money, PR, merch, whatever, what have you, into this streaming service, and it's fucking tanking. So the Buttermilk Bobs and this
been watching Gamza recently.
Sometimes I watch him. He's a little bit too much for me sometimes.
Yeah, he's very over the top.
But yeah, I get my info from here and there. But they are not getting the return what they put into this, and this has to go on for a year because a yearly subscription was asked from people to get that mini at the end of the year. And recently the James Workshop is also strongly advocating. They had a segment on, oh, why don't you buy a yearly pass of Warhammer Plus? Wouldn't that be a spiffing gift for your significant other? And I was like, the fuck?
Yes. Wouldn't you like to get this gift for get the yearly pass?
Yeah, and they
Twiddles
specifically
mustache.
said the yearly pass. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, get away from me. And suffice to say, I mean, Age of Sigmar is basically untouched by this. The Age of Sigmar videos are not tanking at all. But I installed the Chrome add-on, which brings back dislikes, and I'm happy to say that all Warhammer Plus related videos have at least a 2-to-1 dislike-like ratio. So the crowd anger has not let up. And I am proud to say that if I had anything to do with this, that I'm very happy, because I haven't seen it. Arch was pretty burnt out from the last time.
Yeah.
He organized an email campaign.
Yeah, being someone who was a part of that protest and a part of that email campaign. I mean, I won't say I was a big part of it, but I was another content creator outside of Arch that was supporting it.
Me too.
Yeah, at the time. Thing is, I'm with Arch in that regard. Like, it does burn you out, because all we achieved with it was we overloaded their email on customer support. That was at the time, that was like a big victory. It's like, oh my god, see, look at the impact we made. But out of it that got done? No, we didn't even see this kind of a drop then from the stocks. GW didn't really make a public apology, response, nothing. Like, it was depressing. Like, we were trying to do all that to encourage them to keep politics out of the hobby. Sorry. But keep in mind, people, I'm not one of those people who says you can't have politics whatsoever. I mean, some political themes can be very fascinating for storytelling. Keep in mind, when I say politics, and I would say this is like the general meaning most people have when they say keep politics out of gaming or keep politics out of stuff, it's propaganda. Like, it's one thing to present an issue, like that could be involving the modern day. It's one thing to present a political perspective on something, on an issue. It's another to tell people what's the right answer and tell people what to think. You're not encouraging people how to think. Like, Star Trek is a great example of storytelling that included political issues, but did it in a way that encouraged you to think about the issue, that encouraged you to ask questions, to debate, to converse. Meanwhile, modern day writing, they're telling you what to think, and that's what I hate. So I love politics in gaming when it's encouraging you how to think, when it's encouraging you to see a perspective and converse.
Absolutely.
That's the good kind.
The thought what's the noun?
Provoke?
So it's thought provoking.
Yes.
Provocation, yeah. The thought provocation, that is a very good element. When we look at this part. But again, as you foreshadowed, another shall we say scandal, nobody's talking about it anymore. But then this Nazi thing happened in Spain.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That was stupid.
Right? That was stupid. And again, GW stepped up, and as the far left-leaning company it is, it had to stand against one thing while keeping very silent about the other, which is equally bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a stab against Nazis, then you usually need to take or do a stab against commies as well.
I mean,
but it didn't.
That's not even like my perspective on that situation. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, if you take a stance against one, you have to. Nah, if they're a company, they can take a stance with or against whatever they want. They can also choose to be silent about another. That's my perspective. Where my issue with that situation was not that they were like, oh, my issue was the fact that they responded to it at all. One guy trolling at a tournament.
And guess who won? That dude.
One dude.
That dude won. He won against a whole company while trolling the fuck out
Exactly.
of
Like he was like anyone who heard about that situation who took it like seriously lives on Twitter. I'm telling you that right now. You live on Twitter.
Yep.
One guy, a troll, in a whole tournament, who was trying to piss people off and succeeded, got he succeeded so well. The company itself issued a statement on the Warhammer community website.
And this is
what
fantastic
the fuck?
because I don't know how many of your viewers know this, but Spain was a pretty fascist country back in World War II with Franco and everything. They didn't actively participate in the war, but they just like isolated themselves into this fascist. Lots of atrocities happened there.
I don't know too much about Spain's history during that time myself.
It was the Franco era. Madonna did a movie, Evita. So she played the wife Eva Perón of Franco. But anyway, so there is a ground for fascism and ultranationalism in Spain. So there's your basis for the thing. But if there
but I don't think the guy was granted I didn't see I've seen no screenshots or pics of the guy.
I've seen the screenshot.
I've seen nothing of him. Like I don't know like how like hardcore this is.
We have the same. So as you know, I mean, whether or not if you know, but now you will know, Hungary was also a hardcore fascist country back in World War II. The first chance we got, we sided with the Nazis and the Germans, and also the uniform is basically the same. Even the
so he wore a uniform.
Oh, he did.
Like a full Waffen SS uniform.
No. Neo-Nazi uniforms, and back then only the Germans wore those very stylish Hugo Boss Waffen SS stuff. Everybody else just wore black and red and white.
Okay, so it's more like the general color. Well,
yeah. So basically, he was, I don't know if he was wearing a shirt or something, but he was definitely wearing a black hoodie with these very stylized Nazi symbols. And I mean, as a Hungarian, knowing Hungarian history, I pointed that out, and I was like, that is fucking neo-Nazi stuff. I recognize it everywhere because some of our idiots here as well just love dressing up.
So do you think he legitimately was a fascist, or do you think he was? Because I got my impression from like when I heard about what happened, the impression I got from that situation was it was a troll. It wasn't like an actual.
Absolutely.
I don't think like when I heard about it,
he registered himself in the tournament as the Austrian painter.
Exactly. That's the part that told me that this guy wasn't an actual fascist. He was just a guy trying to fuck with people. And as far as I understand it, in the tournament, he made it all the way to 6th place because people refused to play against him. So, if that... one of two things happened. This guy either went with the intent of that happening, which is, I'm going to offend everybody against me so much that they don't play me, and I win. Or, he was trying...
That's a 200 IQ move right there.
Yeah.
If that happened, kudos to that dude. Whatever. But yeah, and so so on the one thing, if everybody takes this seriously and they think that Spain has a Nazi problem, why was that single dude there dressed as a Nazi?
Yeah, and why did so many people he made it all the way to 6th place? So why did so many people refuse to play him? If it's an issue in the whole country, I highly doubt it is. But yeah, the gist of that, the gist of that situation for me. The stupid thing is that anybody thought that the guy was an actual fascist. If you look into it even remotely, it's clearly an internet troll bringing the troll to real life.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say that the guy meant any harm at all.
No.
He was a smartass because he made them call the police because he knew.
Yeah, like that tells me the guy was trying to offend. He wasn't there to spread a message, and the guy probably doesn't believe in fascism at all. I don't know that for a fact. maybe he is some hardcore
Yeah.
neo-Nazi.
At,
But
at,
as
at
far
this
as
point, it's speculation, but I wouldn't
yeah,
think.
as
I
far
wouldn't.
as it sounds to me, the guy was just trolling, and the fact that GW's PR team didn't understand that they went as far to, first of all, even if the guy was a real neo-Nazi, which I don't think he is, like even if the guy was. What
This is their
you
second
gave you
shot,
gave
right?
one guy so much fucking power. You wrote your company wrote an entire article in response.
And explaining themselves. So he made GW explain themselves yet again after the George Floyd riots, after a single Spanish dude. It's not even a. I don't even. I didn't even know that they held a tournament in Spain. But now I know. And now I knew because they just pinpointed it. Okay, a single Nazi uniform appeared at our tournaments and we couldn't do anything about it. Let us just say that we we don't allow this and we don't like it. And by the way, the Imperium of Man is basically Nazi Germany in space.
Hmm.
And yeah, and just that, right? And just the Imperium of
Well, in
Man
many
is
ways, the
fascist.
Imperium Man is made worse. Like
Yes.
that's the
And
thing. That's the thing. Like I know Arch has had a huge thing, and for a while I kind of had a similar perspective to Arch, which is like, oh, they're not really like, no, like for 40k, like as I've like really retrospectively thought about it, yeah, every faction is evil. Like for a while there was that whole like, oh well, in the circumstances that they're in, are they really that bad? Yeah, I would say they're still meant to be, even in the circumstances that they're in, are supposed to be like really bad. Like these factions in 40k, no one is supposed to be a good guy. Like that's the charm of 40k.
yeah,
Everyone is a bad guy. Everyone is an asshole. So you get to just pick the cool, like instead of worrying about, oh, do I pick the good guy or the bad guy? No, just focus on, do I pick the which variation of asshole do I want to play? That's the whole charm
exactly,
of 40k. But yeah, like
exactly.
that.
Because
So
like yeah,
yeah,
nobody knows why, but the humans follow the fascistic realities and doctrines of the Imperium, and that's bad. Never mind the destroyer courts of the Necrons, who basically want you dead because you have a pulse, or the or the Tyranids, who just want to om nom nom your ass because why?
yeah. Like
Because you
everybody's
live.
supposed to be just these hyperbolic bad guys.
and
Um,
and so on and so on and so on and yeah, and they also said that we don't want your money, and that's when I laughed and I just stopped reading this. Oh no, I didn't because I made a stream about it. But anyway, it's pathetic what they do, and this just keep snowballing. And as a matter of fact, coming back to the stock drop, uh, the shareholders did not get informed about the NDA,
hmm.
and that's a fact because Northern Exile is a stockholder, and he did not get update because of the NDA, what they pulled out. So they are actively breaking the law, at least in Britain. I don't know what is going on with their manufacturing, and I mean, yeah,
Neither do
like
I. Like I don't think
supply
anybody
chain
but
stuff.
them know.
But I know for a fact that a $30 um, Primaris Intercessor box has $3 per sprue worth in the box. The rest is the cardboard and the paint on the cardboard, and that's it.
Hmm.
And that is a fact. And that was what was blowing me away because like Northern Exile was a GW store manager, and $3 out of the $30 box. Okay, let's say six, because they have two sprues, right?
Hmm.
$6 on the $30 box. Go fuck yourself, GW. So it's like this is beyond predatory what they are making. And even if people buy their stuff, the new Christmas box battle forces were everybody says that value is horrible, even to those who are hardcore fans. They are not buying it because they are just shelf sweeping with those boxes. They put together stuff that really don't go together, right? So those are tanking as well, and the general bad PR.
That's a big
right
one.
now, what is
That's a
going
big one
on?
right now. Like, the thing is, all of these things that we've talked about have all kind of stacked on top of each other. I mean, it's all just been kind of adding up. I don't think if we took any one of these things individually that have happened and had erased the rest of them from the timeline, I don't think we would have seen the stock drop. Or at least not this sharp. But
everybody is talking about the main focus is the IP controversy.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Still, because they would like to sue
Speaking
everybody.
of, the last two things wanted to bring up in relation to GW before I have to move on, because I have been going at this for an hour.
Sure.
But the last two things I wanted to bring up in regards to this situation is they're kind of related to each other. One, a friend of mine's an asshole and a bit cheeky. So you know how I had COVID recently?
Yeah.
Well, for Christmas, he got me the Death Guard Combat Patrol box. And he said, "I got you some diseased friends to fit your health." So I got that from him, and
that's nice of
him. To kind of pivot off of that,
getting COVID for a Death Guard Combat Patrol box. Fuck yeah, sign me the fuck up.
It's like, hey, $140 for my lack of health for 14 days. You know what? Worth it. That's $10 a day.
What?
With that aside, to pivot off of that, I know Chapter Master Valeric.
Oh no, here we go.
I know he reported on this recently. Or, well, he made a video talking about this. There's a rumor going around right now about, and I think you know about this rumor, but there's a rumor going around that GW is going to make a statement about their IP.
Yes,
about their
this
IP.
Has been,
yeah.
This has been going around, yes.
This has been going around for a little bit, that they're going to make a statement about their IP policy come Christmas. It's a rumor. There's no proof or evidence of this actually going to be happening, but it is a rumor going around that they're going to address the concerns, or at the very least just talk about the IP policy and make some kind of announcement related to it. Now, there's plenty of speculation about that, though.
If they have still 2 neuron cells or brain cells functioning, they are going to do a Disney and just say that, okay, we acknowledge this, we are letting that go, or there's just some kind of a percentual agreement of revenue and whatnot, whatever. So you know what happened with Disney with the Darth Vader fan film. If they have any sense left in them, they are just gonna do exactly what Disney did with the Darth Vader fan film, and that's that. I hope.
I mean, I get the hope behind that, but in terms of what I actually think is gonna, if they do make a statement, again, this is totally rumor. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like, we don't know if this is actually going to happen. There's no evidence, no proof. But if they do make a statement in regards to their IP policy, I believe practically that they're, even with all this backlash, I don't think that they're going to get burnt. Like, I don't think they feel like they're being burnt right now. I know it sounds ridiculous. Like, how do you see a 20% stock drop not as a burn? But they've shown some hubris over these last 4 or 5 years that border on delusion. So, in my opinion, they're going to make a statement double downing on their IP policy. More or less, what they're going to do from their perspective is try and explain to the foul, pathetic laymen's of their community that purchase their stuff. I think from their perspective, they're going to be the reason that there's backlash about it is because we don't understand, or that we don't fully respect their IP control. So I feel like they're going to double down.
Sure. I will respect this the moment they acknowledge that, yes, we copied Frank Herbert's Dune universe. Yes, we stole from Berserk. Griffith is basically...
I don't think they're going to acknowledge
that. Yes, we stole from James Cameron. Yes, we stole from the Predator, the Alien franchise, what have you. If they make a list like that, or borrowed whatever, because that's the main problem is, for me, is the hypocrisy, right? But if they pull a Disney with the IP stuff right now, because that's the only sensible thing to do, because in 6 months, basically, they lost 20% worth. And that's the end stuff. And I'm strongly encouraging, and up to this day, is anybody subscribing to Warhammer Plus. I'm not saying they are part of the problem, but I'm saying they are part of the problem, right?
I'll just say they're not helping.
No, they are definitely not helping. I have friends as well. They have to use VPN because at this part of the world, you can't even subscribe to Warhammer Plus, right? They have to use a VPN to do that, and I also do not hear anything at all. Nothing. So each week, the only interaction what I have with Warhammer Plus is I auto dislike their videos when the announcement comes out on YouTube. But anyway, this is their huge hole in their hull in the ship, and water just keeps coming in. And I'm very interested. So okay, it's a gentleman's bet. I say that they are gonna see the stock drop, the price drop, and they will acknowledge that this is a problem, and they will pull a Disney, like what they did with the Darth Vader fan film. And you say that, and I would say you might be a little bit more, so I would give you a 50 to 53% chance on what you said, because of the continuous doubling
they
down.
just made so many dumb decisions.
Yes.
Double downing on terror.
Yes.
They're not a company that has any history of taking back bad decisions. There's too much hubris.
Learning from them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm gonna laugh so hard if they say that. Yes, because you're stupid, and that's why you don't understand what we're doing. We're just protecting our stuff.
And whether they say that or not, I know that's what they think. That's what they're thinking. Like, it's like, hey, they just don't understand. We're legally in the right. Well, just because you're legally in the right doesn't mean you're morally in the right.
Yeah, that's that Hasbro demon that's possessed the body of GW.
I don't know. They were having issues well before that the Hasbro guy arrived. Well, it's gotten worse since he's been there, but
well, the Hasbro dude, let's just say that he poured some gasoline onto that fire, right?
Yeah, he enhanced the problem.
So the buttermilk bobs are just gonna keep pouring money. I also buy some stuff here and then.
I buy paints. That is about it.
Paints and base paints, primers. Those are good. But I also when I can, I buy used stuff. But when I can't, I'm gonna buy some boxes. But that's all. I'm not gonna make anything about it.
And I have such a
GW. I'm boycotting Warhammer Plus because I love the game, but I hate the company.
I can't even say I'm boycotting Warhammer Plus because I genuinely have no interest in it. So it's like I'm boycotting. No, it's not like if GW were in better regards with me that I would get it. Like it's so unappealing and it's so mismanaged. Like there's nothing of value to it. It's kind of like it's a very decorative, hollow offering. Like there's nothing there.
Has no worth.
So I can't even pretend I'm boycotting it. I just genuinely have no interest in it. Like Astartes 2, when that eventually comes out, would be the only reason I would subscribe. And even then,
which is going to be Custodes if the plan still holds out, or maybe they just whacked Siyama on their head and they said, nope, Primaris Marines. So
no idea.
yeah, no idea.
But yeah, that's the general coverage of the GW related stuff.
Yep.
Thank you, Greg, for coming on and giving your perspective.
My pleasure. It was very good to speak to you again. So
same, likewise.
Yeah.
Alright, I have one other topic I'm covering. And it's the shortest topic, and then we're going to open up to a Q&A as well as calls if anyone wants to come in. Okay. So the last topic for today is the opening weekend Spider-Man No Way From Home, which apparently scored the third best opening in cinematic history with 253 million United States dollars in raw box office ticket sales. It's pretty impressive. Now, I will say that when it comes to like the rumors of like the plot and everything around this Spider-Man film, I've tried to avoid too many spoilers. I still have not seen the film myself, so this is mostly just covering the raw information that Spider-Man No Way From Home, well, achieved this feat of $253 million in their opening weekend haul. And I gotta say, this is a good thing from the perspective of like us nerds and geeks out there who are wanting better stories. Because as far as I understand it, the Spider-Man No Way Home story has no or little to no modern politics, getting modern political propaganda being shoved into it, like a lot of our films and television have had recently, which is really good to hear. So the massive adoration, support, and outcrawling of people going to watch just an entertaining, fun movie like Spider-Man No Way From Home. And as far as my friends who have seen it have told me, it is a really good Spider-Man movie. It's just raw fun. It's entertaining. It's got some fan service in it. From what I've heard, this is everything people are hoping it to be, and it's likely to be a continued success outside of its opening weekend box office. So, if all that holds up when I go see it, I'll talk about it like in the next GT podcast probably. When I finally get the opportunity to go to my local theater, sit down, watch the film, and I'll give you all my perspective on whether I think it deserves this haul or not. But based on the other two films in this trilogy, I gotta say, based on those two and what my friends have said about this one, my hats off, my proverbial hats off to Tom Holland, and to everyone who worked on this film. Just massive credit to you guys, and thank you for bringing us just an entertaining movie. Not one that tells us what to think, but just presents us a fun story that we can sit down, enjoy with our families and friends, and just enjoy a film for once. So massive hats off to them, and I can't wait to go see the movie. I've heard nothing but good things, and congratulations to them for their massive opening weekend haul with $253 million. And I believe this is just domestic, if I'm not incorrect. Anyway, that's the last topic. I know that was really short compared to like the hour and a half almost I was just talking to Greg about GW, but it was just something small I wanted to denote. There wasn't really anything major with it. I just thought it was an interesting, kind of cool bit of news we got, some just more calm related stuff. And so for anyone out there who's seen the movie, don't spoil me, and hope you enjoyed it. So now, I guess we're opening up to Q&A time. Sure. I don't know what I want to put in the view there. I guess I'll just put my channel page. Hold on. Boom. Where's full screen at? There you go. Subscribe. Anyway, so yeah, we're open up to Q&A as well as callers for the Discord, which reminds me I do need to provide the proper link to that. Copy, there we go. So yeah, this is my I guess a sort of private Discord. But anyone who wants to jump into call line on the Discord, feel free to. I welcome anybody who wants to jump on the call line and wants to ask me any questions. If you jump on the call, you're allowed up to 2 questions. They can be pretty much about anything you want to ask me. And if you don't feel comfortable jumping on a call for the stream, feel free to ask the question in the live stream chat. So during that entire conversation I had with Greg, like 4 people showed up. So Hunty, who's Stark drops, yeah. Hey Hunty, welcome to Zisthanian. Welcome. Morgan Tempest Lupus, welcome. And Pyrrhus and Zalthi, welcome to the stream, guys. Sorry I didn't welcome you when we first arrived. Podcast kind of style, it's a bit harder to just directly communicate with chat, especially when we're talking about the topic. But welcome, you guys. So, yeah. 2 questions? And if you're in the live chat, you're allowed to ask as many as you want in the typing chat. So feel free to just throw as many as you want. But it's for the VC call. I limit it to 2, just in case there's someone else who wants to ask questions. And sometimes singular questions can lead to like hour-long answers. So I limit it to 2 per person, especially with more than 1 person watching the stream. But yeah, feel free to throw out any questions you guys may have. I currently have my eye on the call line if anyone wants to hop in to VC with me and ask some questions. General Q&A, open for business. On Steam of voice. Yeah, you don't have to be if you don't want to. Like I said, it's entirely optional. What is good in life? Plenty is good in life actually right now. I mean, the weather's kind of cold and chilly, which I actually kind of like. You know, I like cooler temperatures. We just got some fresh snow, so it's looking like we'll have a white Christmas. Plenty of snow on the ground, plenty of icy looking trees. Looks very pretty. So with any luck, my family will look out on the window and we'll see just a nice blanket of crystal white snow as far as the eye can see. A nice cool day, chilly enough to justify a nice warm cup of hot cocoa. You know, that just a nice Christmas coming up. And I'm sure most of y'all are I'm from down south. Y'all. Get her done. Anyway, but most of you probably are looking forward to Christmas too. I hope everybody's hooking up with family. Has got gifts for them. You know, you're all excited to get together. 'Tis the season, after all. To be shy sometimes don't help. Nah, it's fine to be shy. I used to be, but then I became a content creator and lost all sense of that. Making a Conan reference. Oh, okay, right, because what's good in life, and this, the quote has lamentation of their women kind of thing, like, that's what I remember from the original Conan. Is I don't know if that's the scene you're referencing, but that's like the first thing that comes to mind. I know what is best in life: to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, to hear the lamentations of their women. Wow. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! I'm sorry, it's kind of sad. I remember that Batman movie with Arnie more than I remember some of his other roles. Oh, good God. I love, despite the fact that, you know, I may have my, I love Arnold's entire, acting portfolio, more or less. Just, some of it's just so fun. With my family and nice cooking. Nice cookout. Get some nice good food together. Sing some nice Christmas carols. Mr. Freeze and Batman, his best role of all time. It really is in certain regards. Like, I get it, the movie is shit, don't get me wrong, if you're looking for like a serious Batman experience. But you cannot deny that movie is worth a purchase solely to see Arnold play Mr. Freeze and play him so well. Not accurately, but well. Stay cool, bird boy. It's just, actually, the whole movie's kind of just playing in my head right now. I love it so much. He was great in the role. It seemed he has. To me, it came off like he was having a blast. Like behind the scenes, he must have been throwing a lot of jokes out as well. Must have been asking the director like 100 times in a row, like, "Hey, is this pun okay?" Like to me, it came off very much that he like behind the scenes was enjoying the hell out of his performance in that movie. Oh, good God. It's looking like we're not getting anybody on the call line into things, which is fine. First podcast back, it's hard to get people to call in and all that. I feel like an old lady asking her grandkids to give her a phone call. I had to hear the rustling of the jimmies. Mr. Freeze was so cold, the batsuit showed nipples. That's another weird aspect of that film, undeniably. You can imagine that the other staff clearly wished to set him on ice for the bad jokes he pulls. It's like, Arnold, if you say one more ice pun, I'm gonna throw you in an actual freezer. Did he stop? Did he finally give up? What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Shit! Get the freezer! Someone, hey, we need 40 men. We need to tackle this man and drag him in. Hurry! Get the damn freezer. Then he breaks out of the freezer. Then bench presses it. Squats on them haters. Am I working forward to the new Batman? The one with, shit, I always forget the actor's name. The guy who played Edward Cullen in Twilight, right? Him. I actually, in a weird way, am. Out of what I've seen of it, it does seem to be, keep in mind, the trailers nowadays are completely fucked. Like, you can't really trust them. But from what we've seen of the trailers and how we see that portrayed, to me, it looks like it'll be good. Will it be great? That's kind of the question. In my opinion, as long as they don't put any kind of political propaganda intertwined into the story and trying to tell people what to think about certain issues like that. If they make it just a genuinely fun story, well, and fun in the sense that it doesn't need to necessarily, like, it's clearly going to be a darker story. It's clearly going to have a serious outlook on the character of Batman as well as a villain, which I believe is the Riddler. At least it's been hinted at that he's up against the Riddler in it. And that's going to be very much a detective story. A darker detective story with murder, intrigue, like an actual Batman detective novel. To me, I'm kind of eager for that kind of story. Like with anything that comes out of Hollywood nowadays, I'm worried there is going to be political propaganda like written into it just because really, like, it happens a lot and it's very annoying. Hopefully there's not going to be, or if there is, they keep it to a down low, keep it minimal. But outside of that worry, I think everything else that we've seen about it looks okay. I think the actor, again, I can't remember his name. But I think the actor, I'll just say Edward Cullen to make it easier. He does have a strong jaw, like most Batmans do, so he's got that. He's not as bulky as I would like him to be, but he doesn't appear to be like the Ben Affleck style of Batman, which is a brawler. So maybe we'll get some more martial arts out of his performance. At the very least, we know we're getting like brutality out of like the beatdowns he's going to give villains. But yeah, like at the very least, I think it's going to be good. I hope. But trailers are pretty much untrustworthy nowadays, so I'm not confident about that. I'm going to check it out. And if it sucks, it sucks. Kind of general way to look at it. Basically, all I would ask is how far you are in Endwalker, and when... Well, I'm going to make you watch the streams so you know exactly where I'm at. Watch the streams, traitor. You need to see your reaction to the last song. Yeah. Jokes aside, I just got to the moon. Robert Pattinson? Maybe that's his name? I don't know. We were just talking about the newest Batman thing that's coming up. I can't remember if it's a show or a movie, but there's another Batman show or movie coming out soon. And I know it stars the guy who played Edward Cullen from Twilight. And for the most part, it looks like it'll be a good Batman story to me. But it's one of those things where you have to wait and see nowadays. You can't really trust anything Hollywood shows you. I am done with Walker. I have seen the credits. Great. Don't tell me anything. Do not spoil the story. I am very eager to get through it. It's just, yeah, I gotta get back on track with that. Was there a movie with Batman who has shown that he is a detective and not a brawler? The Christian Bale ones leaned more towards the ninja aspect of Batman, less the brawler, and also did the detective aspect pretty well. Like, in my opinion, the Dark Knight series is still the best portrayal of Batman outside of the Batman animated series we had back, well, forever ago now. Outside of that portrayal of Batman in the animated series, I'd say that's like the best certainly the best live action portrayal of Batman has been the Christian Bale series. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the Dark Knight Rises, but the or maybe Dark Knight, I can't remember. Is Dark Knight I have to double check which is in the series, because I know there's the Dark Knight Rises, the Dark Knight, one other one. I can't remember the names properly. The names always blend together in my head for the Christian Bale series. But the one with Bane, the one that had Bane as the main villain. I know a lot of people don't have problems with that one, and I agree. There are some really dumb parts of the writing in that. But outside of that, but even that one still had lots of good elements of Batman. I thought with it, it was. I think the thing that hurt it the most was that it followed up like the near perfection of Heath Ledger's Chaos Joker. Like that dark, gritty, realistic, or more realistic Joker. I think most people at this point always debate like who's the best Joker ever out of the performances, and it really most of the time I hear it comes down to Mark Hamill as the voice of the Joker, and Heath Ledger as the physical and, presence, physical, like, overall, like, in pretty much every other category other than voice is where most people give it. Like, in my opinion, the best Joker portrayal we've ever seen is 100% Heath Ledger. Like, he's my favorite Joker performance ever. Even up against Joaquin Phoenix, which, credit to Joaquin Phoenix, he plays that kind of Joker, that character, very, very well. It's just that version of the Joker is not my favorite, on top of the fact that, again, even if that version were, Heath Ledger's performance, in my opinion, is still better. Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job. That was a fantastic performance, but in my opinion, the best portrayal of the Joker is Heath Ledger. Jack Nicholson was great in his. He was great, yes, absolutely. And in my opinion, the best portrayal of the more cartoony side of Joker is definitely Jack Nicholson. But for the overall character, for the overall being of the Joker that we see in the comics, whether that we're talking the Golden Age, the Silver Age, or the Modern Age comics, whatever you want to talk about, in my opinion, across the board, the best portrayal of the Joker, in my opinion, is Heath Ledger. Jack Nicholson was amazing in his time, and still in many ways is one of the best performances as well. But I just don't think it beats Heath Ledger. Like, Heath Ledger's performance will go down, in my opinion, as the best portrayal of the Joker. A lot of people were high off of the Joker movie, and lots of people were declaring very confidently that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was better. No offense to Joaquin Phoenix, because that performance was fucking amazing. It was fantastic, and that movie was really gritty and really strong. But I don't think that version of the Joker is the best version. On top of the fact that the performance, in my opinion, though amazing and though fantastic, I don't think is as good as Heath Ledger's portrayal of the character. Troy Baker was pretty good, but I don't think he had enough repertoire with the character to really compare to someone who has as much history and as much time to perfect the portrayal as Mark Hamill did. So it's just not fair to Troy Baker on that one. Yep. Alright, let me check one more time if anyone's in the call line. Nope, nobody is. Alright, so yeah, if anyone's got any other Q&A questions, now's the time to ask. If not, we'll call it here. What does it mean to life, the universe, and everything? Money. I don't know why that came to mind. No idea. When I figure it out, I'll let you know. Alright, so... No, it's 42. 42, that's the answer? Okay. Alright, well, thanks everybody so much for hanging and coming by the podcast. Again, don't know when Ludus, my co-host, is gonna rejoin me, if he wants to at all. I'll reach out to him when I think it's a good time. Right now, I just don't think it is. Like, he's just super busy. He's clearly a little overworked right now. I say a little. He's very overworked right now, and he's got a lot on his plate. So I won't guarantee or throw anything out there for anybody. I'll just simply say that I hope to have him on if he wants to be and can. But if he's not on the next time I do the podcast, which I'll be hosting them, I guess every Monday is fair. I'll be hosting him every Monday until he wants to come back. And if he wants to come back, we'll reschedule it around his week-to-week schedule. When's the most consistent day he has off? And we'll at the very least, no matter what, we're gonna try and get an episode out each week. And until Ludus is until A, I can contact him when it's a good time, and B, when he's comfortable to come back. They'll be hosted on Mondays. And yeah, Mondays a little afternoon, around 1 o'clock is the goal, but I'm not very great at that. After this stream, I'm going to be streaming some late night gaming. I'm debating either Total War Warhammer 2 for a little bit, or some Fallout 4, one of the two, for a little bit, for a late night streaming thing. Otherwise, if you guys don't join me for that in the next half hour-ish, I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah. So have a good one night, everyone. Thank you for joining, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.